Look closely at these mountains. For decades, we have felt the bite of winter wind on our cheeks and the thrill of skiing. We've known these mountains as immutable giants, guardians of our winter dreams. But what if these timeless peaks, the very heart of our passion, are whispering a different story now? A story of challenges that could change the sport forever. But what would that look like? We veteran skiers, those of us who remember the days of leather boots and long straight skis, we know the mountains hold a magic unlike any other. We've seen it all, from rope tows to high-speed quads, from wool sweaters to Gore-Tex. But as we stand on the precipice of the next decades, the changes ahead promise to be more profound than anything we've seen before. This isn't just about new gear, it's about the very essence of how we experience the snow, the mountains, and the ski culture that we cherish. And for many of us, it's about ensuring that this cherished tradition, this profound connection to winter, remains vibrant, not just for our remaining years on the slopes, but for our children and, God willing, our grandchildren. The most significant force reshaping skiing is without a doubt climate change. We've all witnessed it, that slushy mess on a promising day, the season cut short by an early thaw. Our days skiing told us what the scientists now confirm. U.S. ski seasons are projected to shrink by weeks, even months, especially in regions like the Northeast and Midwest, where lower elevations make them more vulnerable. Some reports even warn of reductions exceeding 50% by 2050. Even our reliable resorts in the Rockies and Sierras are experiencing shortening seasons and earlier spring melts. It's not just the quantity of snow, but the quality. Remember those perfect powder days? They are increasingly threatened by warmer temperatures that lead to more rain or snow with higher water content, that heavy, cement-like consistency that makes turning at shore, or worse, creates icy conditions overnight. This is not just an inconvenience. It's already cost the U.S. ski industry over $5 billion in the last 2 decades. The outlook is incredibly bleak for some regions, and as a result, some predict that between 20 and 50% of the ski resorts in the U.S. could cease to exist in the next 2 decades. This is not merely due to the inability to make snow, but because many smaller resorts simply cannot afford the capital improvements needed to adapt. You might have noticed fewer lifts operating, or your favorite mid-mountain warming hut is closed. Such occurrences are often due to labor shortages. The high cost of living in many ski towns has made it nearly impossible for many workers to find affordable housing, forcing some resorts to, at times, reduce operations and compromise on the guest experience. This has led to an increasing labor unrest, as seen in the recent 12-day ski patrol strike at Park City, where workers fought for higher wages and better conditions. Many resorts are also reliant on foreign workers, especially those on J-1 visas. The ability to hire these workers is subject to the whims of political uncertainty, as visa policies can change with different administrations. This creates a precarious situation for resorts that depend on this labor pool to fill critical roles. Until these labor issues are resolved, we can expect labor shortages to continue to impact the depth and breadth of services resorts can offer. Beyond the slopes, there are challenges brewing in the boardrooms and courtrooms. Resort owners are keenly aware of the usual business risks, but now resorts are facing an escalating liability crisis, a perennial threat that has recently escalated in states like Oregon. The situation is brought to light in the Peak Rankings' excellent YouTube video titled "Oregon's Ski Industry is on the brink of collapse." Lawsuits are chasing insurers away and significantly increasing the cost of insurance. In some states, for skiing to survive, legislators will need to bolster common sense laws that balance the responsibilities of resorts with expectations of individual responsibility. Resorts are facing an unprecedented demand for capital investment to deal with increasingly unfavorable weather conditions and with customers' expanding expectations. Resorts are investing massive amounts of capital in order to ensure the trails have adequate snow. Across the country, resorts are in a snow-making arms race against climate change. At a staggering cost, they are replacing antiquated and inefficient systems with state-of-the-art pump stations, distribution pipes, compressors, and snow guns. Increasingly, these systems are using AI and remote sensing to optimize the interplay of these elements. While incredible advances have been made in the efficiency of snowmaking, the question is whether they can keep pace with the impacts of climate change. Not to be overlooked, these systems need water, lots of water. In some regions, this means navigating often complex and controversial regulations regarding water rights. Efforts to keep our mountains white demand significant increases in water and energy consumption. New projects are often subject to a host of new environmental regulations that can cause significant project delays, demand costly impact studies, and open the door to potential lawsuits from environmental groups. All of these factors contribute to the rising cost of doing business. And before we move on, we need to address the costs of grooming. The most visible of these is the snowcat. A new snow groomer can easily cost upwards of $300,000 to $500,000, and a large resort will need a fleet of them. And the annual cost to run and maintain a snow groomer is between $50,000 and $70,000. Our memories of skiing are often tied to the lifts, the cold steel double chairs, and the long, slow, cold ride to the top. As a result of decades of neglect and underinvestment, the average age of a lift removed from service in 2024 was 41 years old. Many of our favorite resorts have lifts that are still in operation from the 60s and 70s. However, today's customer is demanding more. We want faster, more comfortable rides with features like bubble enclosures and heated seats. We want higher uphill capacity to reduce lift lines and get us to the snow faster. With a new high-speed quad costing $8 to $12 million and a new 8-person gondola easily topping $20 million, resorts are under immense pressure to invest or lose customers to the bigger, flashier resorts with deeper pockets. Beyond the lifts, our memories are often tied to the base lodges and the rustic A-frame lodges that sprung up in the 60s and 70s. The old-school lodging options were often family-run locally owned, and unpretentious. They were a refuge from the cold. But just like the lifts, these structures have been neglected. In many cases, they were never built to handle the sheer volume of skiers and snowboarders that come through today, and they are not up to modern safety and accessibility standards. In addition, customers demand more. They want upscale dining options, luxury rooms, and spas. This has caused a wave of costly renovations and new construction. All of these costs, from the snowmaking and grooming to lifts and lodges, ultimately, they're going to get passed on to us, the skiers. The ski industry faces a challenge bringing new people into the sport. While participation has remained relatively stable over the past few decades, at around 3% of the US population, the demographics are shifting. The mean age of skiers is now 35, a significant increase from 24 in the 60s. The challenge lies in converting beginners into loyal, lifelong participants. If there is a reduction in local, small, affordable mountains, sometimes referred to as feeder mountains, it will be increasingly difficult to attract newcomers to the sport. When I first taught my kids to ski, I brought them to a small local hill. It was convenient, easy to navigate, and affordable. Worst of all, the current data shows that more than 80% of first-time skiers and snowboarders will drop out after their first experience. To combat this, many resorts are implementing innovative programs like the National Ski Areas Association's Conversion Cup to offer multi-day lesson packages and affordable season passes for beginners. But clearly, a lot more needs to be done here. The industry's future health relies on successful long-term strategies that address the major barriers to entry for newcomers, which include the high cost of equipment, lessons, and outrageous walk-up ticket prices. The business of skiing is also undergoing a seismic shift. The rise of mega passes like Epic and Icon has fundamentally reshaped access and pricing. For us frequent skiers, these passes have often meant incredible value, opening up a vast network of resorts. However, this has created a distinct two-tiered system. For the occasional skier, or those just looking to try the sport, day passes have soared, sometimes pushing past the $300 mark. This consolidation, while helping larger entities hedge against unpredictable weather, also means that smaller, independent resorts, often crucial entry points for new skiers, face immense pressure to adapt or risk closure. This could lead to a significant loss of local ski culture and community-based ski areas, impacting the very pipeline of future skiers. And for many, it means the loss of the soul of skiing. While mega passes have, in the short term, lowered costs for frequent skiers, the increasing consolidation and rising costs of doing business will inevitably lead to higher prices for everyone in the long run. By 2045, it would not be a surprise to see average day passes at premier resorts exceed $500. In this video, we've explored the very significant challenges facing the ski industry in the coming decades. From the undeniable threat of a changing climate to labor issues and soaring costs of doing business, it can feel like a daunting and overwhelming list. But to truly understand the future of skiing, we must look to its past. This is an industry built on resilience. Time and time again, what seemed like insurmountable crises were met with a spirit of innovation and perseverance. The foundational years of the U.S. ski industry were built by visionaries and determined individuals. From the earliest immigrants who brought their love of skiing to America, to the veterans of the 10th Mountain Division who had the fortitude to endure intense battle and grueling training, and they channeled that same spirit into building a new life. These young, passionate men returned home from World War II to found over 60 ski areas, including iconic resorts like Vail and Aspen. They also established ski schools, developed new equipment, and created publications, transforming skiing from a niche hobby into a popular recreational sport for the masses. The ski industry's resilience was tested again, this time by the 1973 oil embargo. The embargo started in October, just prior to the start of the season. Soaring prices, gas rationing, and long lines at gas stations threatened to halt travel and cripple skiing. But skiers didn't give up. Instead, we adjusted our expectations, skied a little less, but we gravitated to local ski hills and we carpooled. With reduced skier visits and soaring energy costs, ski areas were hit hard. At the time, it almost felt like a doomsday scenario. Significantly reduced revenue and skyrocketing operational costs. Resorts were forced to cut back operations and find other ways to conserve energy. Some ski areas were unable to absorb these losses and had to cease operations for the season, and some permanently closed. It was painful, but it set the stage for the ski industry to become more cognizant of and ultimately more efficient in its use of energy. In the 1980s, a liability crisis emerged, leading to skyrocketing insurance costs that bankrupted many smaller resorts. One especially stark example was Hogback Mountain in Vermont, which closed in 1986 after its liability insurance bill surpassed its annual revenue. In response, industry workers tirelessly lobbied state legislators for appropriate laws. These efforts successfully created a framework that recognized skiing's inherent risks, balancing the responsibility of skiers with those of resorts. This collective effort demonstrated the industry's ability to self-regulate and prioritize safety for its participants, giving us the Skier's Responsibility Code that we still use today. Most recently, the ski industry faced the unprecedented challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Resorts were forced to close down overnight, creating a period of complete uncertainty. Yet, from that crisis, a new boom in outdoor recreation was born. People sought safe outdoor activities, and skiing saw a massive resurgence in popularity. The industry rebounded with record-setting seasons, proving its ability to adapt and thrive even in the face of global turmoil. The story of the ski industry is a testament to the fact that when faced with adversity, innovation and a collective spirit of perseverance have always prevailed. It's a legacy we, as veteran skiers, have been part of. The truth is, the solution doesn't rest with any one group alone. It rests with the many and varied stakeholders in this sport that we love. Sustaining the magic of skiing rests with resort operators and ski industry groups such as Ski Area Management, the National Ski Areas Association, and the many state ski area associations. The survival of our sport as we know it also depends on state and federal legislators, on environmental activism, and on climate scientists. And of course, it rests with us, those who actually ski and snowboard. For this sport to not only survive, but to thrive for our children and grandchildren, we must first acknowledge these challenges and then together work to find and champion innovative solutions. The story of skiing is one of optimism, and there is every reason to believe that the future of the sport will be just as bright as its past. It's a fight worth having. There will be casualties and a few scars, but those are the prices paid for evolution to occur. So yes, skiing will survive. I'm sure we won't like some of the changes to come, but I'm confident there will be positive changes, some we never could have imagined. We may not be here to see them, but our children and grandchildren will be. And they too will experience the profound joy and freedom of the mountains in winter, just as we have.